Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, we find out about a scheme in Hull to help the vulnerable. And it's time for another Dog of the Week. And my studio guests are Zoe Metcalfe and Lauren Alexander, who are talking about fundraising for St Andrew's Hospice. Welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Emma Lingard, but first it's over to Dan Kemp for the news headlines.
Hello there. The RAF are to unveil a specially painted Typhoon fast jet at RAF Coningsby. It's to commemorate the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Britain this year. It'll be painted in a Battle of Britain era paint scheme and feature the identification number of the only RAF Flight Command pilot awarded a Victoria Cross during the battle. And you'll be able to see more on this story tomorrow. The High Commissioner of New Zealand has paid a special visit to Hull. He unveiled a plaque to Sir John Hall, a former Prime Minister of New Zealand who was from Hull and successfully gave women in the country the vote, kick-starting female suffrage. A plaque was also unveiled to Margaret Kissling, who educated Maori children in New Zealand. The High Commissioner, Sir Lockwood Smith, explained why maintaining historical ties was so important.
I think it's a very appropriate way to do it because actually Sir John came back to Hull a number of times after he went to New Zealand and kept his ties with the city. Even though he'd become a New Zealand Member of Parliament, he ended up Mayor of Christchurch, New Zealand, he still kept his linkages. He'd sail, and in those days it took a long coming back, 3 months at sea to come back. He came back several times and so kept the linkage alive, and I think the city has every right to be very proud of Sir John Hall.
Events have been taking place across our area for Dementia Awareness Week. One such event was Grimsby's People's Park and involved a series of care providers giving information on the signs of dementia, dementia care and support groups to help families cope with the condition. Emily Raze, Alzheimer's UK Service Manager for North East Lincolnshire, outlined the importance of events like this.
So the theme of the week is that life doesn't end when dementia begins, which is really important and poignant. It's about illustrating to the local communities that people with dementia can live well and have rich and diverse lifestyles with the support from our community. We already know that dementia carries a massive stigma in our society, and the Alzheimer's Society work all year round trying to reduce that stigma, challenge people's perceptions through things such as the Dementia Friends programme in order to make our communities more dementia friendly and more supportive.
That's all from me for now. If you've got any news for us, then please don't hesitate to contact us by calling Grimsby 01472 31 553, emailing news@estuary.tv, or by searching for us on Facebook or Twitter @EstuaryTV. Bye for now.
Thank you, Dan. Well, St Andrew's Hospice in Grimsby plays a major part in many people's lives, and there are also many people who raise funds for this facility. And joining me now are Zoe Metcalfe, who has organised a fundraiser, and Lauren Alexander, a representative for the hospice. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Obviously, you appeared last on our sofa. November, I think it was last year, wasn't it?
Yes.
It about November time?
Yeah, it was November, yeah.
You've organised a fundraising event, haven't you, which takes place at the end of the month. Before we talk about that, really, just explain to me why raise money for the hospice?
Well, it was to do with my mum. She originally got breast cancer when she was 51, so 13 years ago. Obviously she went through treatments, chemo, surgery, etc. But then 2 years later she got secondary cancer.
Right.
Which obviously with the secondary one, the sort of hospice came into play, and they supported her a lot. She was actually classed as terminally ill then when she'd got because it was a secondary cancer. So yeah, she went as a day patient, which a lot of people don't sort of realise that, you know, they have that side of it as well.
Yes.
And yeah, she'd sort of go there for support and have meals, etc.
Okay, and so out of that, you decided to put an event on, didn't you, to raise money?
Yeah, I decided it last year, the Ladies Pamper and Shopping event, and it was obviously a success. So I've decided to hold it twice a year now, every May and November.
And just to bring you into this, there are many people like Zoe, aren't there, who
Yes.
have that first-hand experience that then decide to put events on,
Yeah,
isn't there?
it's fantastic that people turn such a negative situation in their life into such a positive. And having conversations with Zoe when I first met her, probably this time last year before you started organising the November event, it's great that I've now got a relationship with Zoe that she feels she can talk to me. She's raising money, and also her mum's then involved as well. And giving something back to the hospice means a lot to people because our care is free.
Yes.
People want to provide something back to the hospice, which is absolutely fantastic.
I mean, at any one time, have you ever calculated how many people might be out there putting on events like
Oh
Zoe?
God, hundreds and hundreds. If I had to be at every event, I think I would never ever stop. So luckily I'm flexi hours, so therefore I can work around, and I get to go to all these lovely events. But yeah, hundreds of days. If you went onto our website and looked at our events calendar of all the supporter events that are being organised, there's at least 2 a day going on.
Yeah.
And it's incredible.
Well, it is, isn't it? And hard work, Zoe, because you're saying you're doing 2 a year. How much time are you putting into organising this then?
Well, actually, off the back of November's as well, a lot of stand orders came forward and everything, and they were asking me about maybe organising other events because I was quite flattered when they said that it was quite well organised. But it was the first one that I'd ever done.
Yeah.
So now I actually do another 26 events in a year,
Right.
where we have a St Andrew's Hospice tombola stand.
Right.
So at those events we raise money for the hospice as well.
Yeah.
For those ones as well, you see.
Yeah.
It's
You've kind
it's
of made
turned
the
into-
model, haven't you? And then you
Yeah.
can move it along.
Yes.
So you've
Yeah.
done the
Yeah.
painting, and that's it. It
Because-
keeps
Yeah.
going.
This is it, to devote that time to doing, and it is a big event, isn't it? I think it's about 51 stalls.
stands,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that is a huge event. You must be, well, you're proud, obviously clearly proud of what you achieved that
Yeah,
time.
and it was fantastic because it was literally, what I actually do with that one is instead of announcing the date in advance, I literally announced May's date, they knew it was going to be in May, but
Right.
the 31st, the day after that one,
Yeah.
and literally it sold out in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I have to do first come first serve because there's so many people that even asked me on the day that they wanted to
Right,
reserve the
yes,
same stand.
yeah.
But because it's for the hospice and all the stand money and everything goes to the hospice, there's a lot of people that want to support it. So I thought it was only fair if I do it first come first serve,
Yeah.
that there'll be slightly different stands, you know,
Yes,
some different
yeah.
therapists, and they all get a chance to, put some money towards the hospice as well.
I mean, that is brilliant. And again, Lauren, the support for the
Yes.
hospice, because you never stop fundraising, do
No,
you?
it's incredible. I'm not actually originally local. I'm from South Lincolnshire. So when I moved to the area, I was overwhelmed with the amount of people
Yeah.
that know the hospice or now know my face, have little
Yes.
kids come up and talk to me because they know I work for the hospice. And it's just such a family environment, a very home from home. And that's one of the things we pride ourselves in, the fact that we are a big, big family, and hopefully the community value that.
That's
And
it.
clearly they do,
They
because
do, they do.
like Zoe was saying, with the supporters of the store, so they might not necessarily be able to organise an event themselves or
Yeah.
have the time, but they want to still do something, so that would be
Exactly.
attending an event like Zoe's.
Well, we're going to come back to you. Stay where you are. You're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, we'll be taking a look at another dog searching for their forever home. And Dan Kemp will bring you the latest local sports news. A Safe Place scheme was recently launched by Humberside Police. The national scheme is designed to help people with learning disabilities or those who are vulnerable from being bullied or harassed while being out and about. The scheme sees shops display a window sticker, as we find out more in this short film.
Humberside Police and Hull City Council are incredibly proud to bring the Safe Places scheme. What it actually offers us is an opportunity to protect those that are vulnerable in our community, or those that really need support whilst they're in public, to find a safe place and ensure that they get the assistance they need.
People inside the premises or shops will receive training so they're aware of what to do and how to respond to people who come and seek help from them immediately.
Someone might need a safe place if they become lost, if they feel bullied, or just if they require assistance or support.
Good morning, sir. Do you need any help at all?
Yes, I'm a little bit lost.
You're a little bit lost.
Trying to find the bus station.
That's absolutely fine, sir. I'm gladly escort you to the bus station.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, sir.
So this is about people who need help, who can actually apply to have a card that has their contact details on it. So if they go into a shop, they can present that card and people know to give them the right support.
If somebody can't find a place of safety and it's not an emergency, then please dial 101 so that they can get a police officer or some assistance. And if it happens to be an emergency, then absolutely dial 999.
Oh, sorry I'm late. What shall we do?
Shall we go look around the shops?
Yeah, why not? Shall we drop more coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get it. Oh no, left my bag.
Well, when in public and walking through places such as this, the shopping centre, we work with the businesses and we give them a logo, a sticker that they can put in their front window. That's a really visible representation to say this is a safe place.
Excuse me, I need your help. I've left my bag.
No problem. Just come with me. Take a seat. Is there anybody that I can ring to help?
The staff within those premises are going to receive training and be aware of the fact that their shop, premise or wherever is going to be a place where people who are vulnerable or distressed can come to.
Hi there, I'm calling from a safe place. I've got Valda with me. She's lost her bag.
Hi, Valda. Okay. What seems to be the problem?
I've left my bag and I don't know where.
We have monthly meetings with our service users, and one of the main issues that comes up is that often they don't feel so secure within public spaces, and so this Safe Places scheme is a particular benefit for them because they feel that they can come out and feel safe, feel that they know that they can go to local businesses, and it's so important that the local businesses get right behind this because it will make such a difference in terms of their feeling of inclusion within society.
If you want to get involved as a business, then please get in touch, dial 101 and ask for the Community Cohesion Officer. We'll work with you to provide the skills so you can truly become a safe place.
Well, still with me in the studio are Lauren Alexander from St Andrew's Hospice and Zoe Metcalf, who is organising a ladies' pamper and shopping event to raise money for the hospice. We were talking before, Lauren, about the importance, weren't we, of people like Zoe who put so much hard work and effort into fundraising, because the hospice would not probably survive as well, would it, without these people?
The doors wouldn't open tomorrow. 88% of our total running costs of 3.5 million, is funded through generous people like Zoe. So it's a pretty incredible amount.
It is.
So if you could imagine that all these events don't happen year on year, some people might say, oh, I've only raised £1,000, but in the grand scheme of things, that £1,000, if we can bank that and guarantee it every year, means that as community fundraisers like myself know that the doors will be open tomorrow for our patients.
Because that is a staggering amount of money.
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
incredible.
Unbelievable. And if people have been, I recently attended obviously the opening of your new build as well. You've got a lot of work going on the site, haven't you?
And a lot of fundraising for that as well.
Yeah.
So we asked the general public to help us for 2.5 million of that, as we had a few legacies and reserves for the 4 million, and we received a grant from the NHS, which is the biggest grant we've ever received.
Right.
So we're quite fortunate for that, but we still again needed 2.5 and the additional 3.5 to run both the adults and the children's unit.
Amazing.
So,
so what you're doing is fantastic.
Yes.
All this work that you're putting in. The event itself then, because I said that happens quite soon, what types of stalls, what was actually going to be happening on that day?
Well, we have the pamper side of it is obviously therapists, local therapists and beauticians. So they offer like the beauty side of it, like nails, facials, things like that. And then there's the therapy side of it, the holistic therapies. Okay. So we have like Reiki, reflexology, ear candling, services like that.
Yeah.
And then we have the shopping side of it. So obviously we have handmade stands and also other stands that sell, you know, clothing, ladies' clothing, men's clothing.
Yeah.
It is, even though we call it a ladies' pamper and shopping event, it is actually open to men as well, and children. We have things like sand art, painting that children can get involved in. So it's a real sort of day out for everybody's welcome, and it's free.
Yeah,
as
I was
well.
going to
It's
say
free
the men
admission.
don't want to feel left out, do they?
No, not at all. No, we have people with men's clothing and shoes, things like that. So, so yeah, there's always something for the men as well. Or they can sit in the cafe with a homemade cake and a cup of tea while the partner
ladies
walks
spend their
round.
money.
That's it, exactly. and that's all happening at the Memorial Hall in Cleethorpes,
Yes.
isn't it, that day?
And
So-
that's a week on Sunday,
Yeah.
the 31st of May,
Okay.
10 till 4:30.
That is brilliant for that. Popular. Do you roughly have any idea how many people come through the door?
I think last year, because with our sort of other events that we do, we get around sort of the 350 mark, but
Okay.
this one in particular, I think last year we probably got double, so around sort of 700. Yeah.
That's amazing,
And then
isn't
we
it?
also have a raffle where lots of local businesses donate.
Yeah.
We've had some fantastic prizes again this year.
Yeah.
From businesses that haven't necessarily got a stand.
Right.
You know, popular
Yes.
businesses that are in Cleethorpes, etc. So they're really happy to support, you know, the hospice and everything. And obviously it helps customers buy a few more raffle tickets if we've got really good prizes.
Doesn't it? And that is the key to it all. What's the target? What are you hoping to raise this year?
Well, we raised about £738 last November, which was our first one, obviously. This year we have had an anonymous donation from a lady of £200 towards the venue, so that's fantastic.
Yes.
So if we do what we did last year and then add the 200, maybe I'm trying to get to £1,000, but obviously that would be fantastic.
That's on camera now, isn't it?
That's
So
what I was going to
can hold
say
her
now
to
that everybody knows
no.
now. They'll be down there.
I'm
you
sure
know,
she won't
front.
have any trouble reaching it, Zoe, will you?
Well, I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? You constantly having to raise funds, people like Zoe putting events on. Do you sometimes find it a struggle? Or is it easy, Lauren? I mean,
No, not at all. Fundraising is never easy. I suppose many years ago, there was less charities. Now there's a lot of people trying to eat the same cake.
Yes, yeah.
But we're very fortunate with the hospice being so valuable and valued in the local community that we are very lucky. Most people, 9 times out of 10, if you speak to them, they've been touched by somebody, know somebody that's used the hospice or have used the hospice themselves.
Exactly.
So therefore that's a great benefit to us. But on the same merit, we still have to reinvent the wheel all the time. People don't want the same stuff, do they?
No.
So these pop-up events that Zoe does 26 annually,
important,
and you change it towards the trend. So she realised that actually maybe they need to have gifts one time, maybe they just need a tombola stand for the hospice so that there isn't a whole hospice presence there, so that people come as a byproduct, I suppose. They want to come to the event, but it just so happens that they're helping the hospice too.
Well, thank you both for coming in. We've come to the end, so just to remind people on that Pamper and Shopping event is on Saturday, Sunday,
a week on Sunday.
Week on Sunday, get that right, 31st of May, and it's at Cleethorpes Memorial Hall, 10 to 4:30.
And it's free.
And it's free. Brilliant. Thank you. Now it's time to see who's looking for their forever home in Dog of the Week.
365 is Rosie, an 8-year-old Patterdale that came into us just this week. Very steady. Doesn't like cats and doesn't like dogs as well, but if it's in the right home, it'll make a lovely little pet.
Now here's the sport news with Dan Kemp.
Scunthorpe United have made their first signing of the summer. Midfielder Stephen Dawson has signed from the Iron from League One rivals Rochdale on a 2-year deal with the option of a third. The 29-year-old was offered a new deal at Spotland after making 36 appearances this term, but opted to become Mark Robbins' first edition of 2015-16. Grimsby Town forward Christian Jolly will not be returning to Blundell Park though. The 27-year-old joined the Mariners in January from Newport County, but boss Paul Hurst told him on Wednesday that his services are no longer required. The battle to avoid relegation from the Premier League is now down to just 2. Sunderland drew 0-0 at Arsenal on Wednesday night to pick up the point they needed to secure their place for next season. It's now between Hull City and Newcastle United, with the Tigers needing to beat Manchester United on Sunday to have any chance of staying up. North Ferriby United's FA Trophy success has been recognised with a national award. The club have been given the Toolstation Cup Run of the Year by the non-league paper for the period that took Billy Heath's side from a qualifying round win over Mickleover Sports to coming from behind to beat former Football League club Wrexham at Wembley. And finally in Rugby League, Hull Kingston Rovers have bolstered their depleted pack with the signing of James Greenwood from Wigan Warriors. The prop spent last season with the relegated London Broncos and now comes to East Yorkshire to see out the remainder of 2015. The 23-year-old has gone straight into Chris Chester's 19-man squad for Friday's match in Leeds. Now you can contact us by emailing sport@estuary.tv, calling Grimsby 01472 31 553 or finding us on Facebook or Twitter. And that's all for the sport.
Thank you, Dan. And I'm just going to remind people of the correct date for this pamper event, because I'm going to get into trouble with these. And it is Sunday, May the 31st.
Yes. Otherwise, Emma would have been a day early in the queue waiting, clearly.
I would have been down the Memorial Hall telling people, sorry, I've got the wrong day, and not getting everybody into trouble. So it's Sunday, May the 31st, Cleethorpes Memorial Hall, 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. And there's about 50 stalls there.
Yes.
And men can go as well, and it's free.
And children.
Men, women and children. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. Oh, I'm losing all my earpieces now. Well, that's it. It's all we've got time for today. Tomorrow sees my guest Graham Kent of the Anderby Driving School, who's here to review the papers, and we'll also take a look back at what made the headlines this week. If you have a story, then go to our Facebook or Twitter pages. Details will come up on the screen, or you can email news@estuary.tv or pick up the phone and call Grimsby 01472 315 553. So until tomorrow, goodbye.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Cloudy through Friday morning, with outbreaks of mainly light rain and a dry afternoon. Bright with sunny spells and a maximum temperature of 17 degrees Celsius. Saturday will be dry with some light winds and some sunny spells.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.